Hey guys, and welcome to game number 31 out of 100 of the Mack vs. Machine series, where I'll be playing 100 games of Scrabble against the top online Scrabble bot, HastyBot. We have a 19 to 11 lead after 30 games in the series, so we're sitting pretty well right now. But of course, things can change on a dime, especially when you're playing an opponent as unflappable and strong as HastyBot. So we got to make sure that we continue to bring our A game here in game 31 and going forward. Okay, HastyBot opens with an exchange 5. So we now have to figure out how we want to deal with this rack here with a Z, a P, a couple L's, an A, a D, and an E. So one option would be to just play Lazed, which is probably going to be the best scoring option. It's not great just because it does give back a lot. It gives back some good tiles to bingo through. There's a G hook and a B hook on Lazed. And just putting these vowels next to the double letter scores is not ideal if you can help it. Problem is, I don't see any other great options here. I don't want to play Zap and keep 2 L's. That seems not great. It does give back a lot less, but I also don't want to leave myself with an awkward rack for several turns going forward early in the game, and I'd much prefer PL to DELL. So probably Laze. It's also a few more points than Zap. I think it's probably just the right play, as awkward as it looks. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, he plays Dak, and nice draw for us. We have Phenol and a blank. So probably, let's see, we have Phenitol through this E for 98. That's going to be hard to beat. It does take an E because Phenitol and Telephone is a cool pair of 9, so that'll be important to keep in mind. Of course, HastyBot will know that, so we can't try to take advantage of our opponent, hoping that they won't know the obscure hook. But I think that's got to be the right play. 98 points is going to be hard to surpass. Okay. He just plays Ged for 9, so he's clearly close to a bingo if he's just going to be playing off 2 tiles for a small score. So let's see. I could use this Phenitol hook I was talking about and play something. I'm not even sure what, though. That's not great. It gives back a lot of hooks here, and especially with him fishing, I don't think I'm dying to do that. I'd probably play Ein, just because that doesn't take an S or give back as much if I am going to use that spot. I might have better options elsewhere. I'd love to get rid of a U as well. Maybe Tai too is reasonable. I definitely am not going to put a tile in the triple lane after a play like Ged. That would be quite foolish. I'm actually already up 100 too, so I should be trying to err on the side of playing a little bit conservatively. Another option would be Yenta over here, but I think he's reasonably likely to have an S after this play, so I'm not dying to give back that hook. I also kind of like blocking Phenitol and Phenitol, since that's a pretty high scoring bingo lane for him. If he's going to bingo ending in an S, I'd much rather he bingo here, since it'll score quite a lot less. So yeah, I'm kind of between. I don't like I don't think, just because of how much it gives back. Maybe if he didn't fish, I would do that. Well, I guess I could also do like Needed here. That's kind of interesting. It scores well. I don't love, though, getting rid of all my E's. TUY is kind of clunky. It's not bad, but I'm not a big fan of that. I think I want to play with Phenitol. It's probably the best plan for the board in this case. So yeah, I think it's either Tai or Ein. What I don't love about Ein is it gives him this E to play through, and he just played off 2 consonants, so he's more likely to be on the consonant heavy side, and the E is going to be really good for him to bingo through. So I'm kind of leaning towards Tai. NUE versus TUE, I'm pretty agnostic. Neither of them are great, neither of them are terrible. So I kind of like Tai, I think. It's probably not best for equity, but I think it's not too bad, and for this board at this point in the game, I think it makes sense. So let's go ahead and play that. Huh. Okay, he plays Ridgy, so he probably didn't draw well there. I'm guessing I'm just going to play Ibex here. I mean, it's like 55 points. Yeah, I can't imagine anything other than Ibex is going to be right. I mean, it's 56 points, so not much else to say, I don't think. And he plays Burps. We've got a weird draw here. QUUWC. So we're not too far from things like Quidnunk and Quincunx. We're definitely up quite a lot. So I'd like to prioritize not giving back anything to HastyBot if we can help it. So we could, let's see. Do we have anything good with the Q? I don't really think so. We have the 2 U's, but it's going to be hard to use them just since the rest of our rack is so inflexible. Could play Wincers. QUU is not that bad of a leave, to be honest. I mean, it's not great, but it's actually not that bad. So that's a reasonable play. It does give back a few floaters, which I don't love. But I do need to make sure I clean up my rack, because I don't want to have to play defense if he opens something up and have a rack like this. So I'd rather focus on, like, I don't want to play QI and keep UUW. That just feels like a recipe for disaster when I'm trying to maintain a lead. So yeah, probably Wincers is what I'm leaning towards now. I don't see a good spot for Sank, CINQ, and that would keep WUU anyway, which is so bad. QUU is wildly better than WUU, since the Q and the U, of course, go well together. Do I have anything with the Q here? Quincers. No, that's, of course, not a word. Uniquers. No, I don't think I have anything there. So probably just Wincers. Yeah, I just don't really see anything else that's good for my rack. So I'm going to go ahead and play Wincers. Huh, okay, so he plays Raven, and this isn't looking that much better for us here. Now we drew HIIM. Definitely could use some A's or E's to go well with this rack. So what's the best way to deal with this now? QI, of course, still an option, but not particularly appealing one since it keeps 2 U's. Humid does not work. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of other plays. Hum? No, I can't do that with 3 S's unseen. Do I have anything through these 2 P's? Don't think so. Yeah, I'd love to get rid of an I and a U. I just don't see a good way to do that. This is a very odd turn. I really don't want to play QI and keep HIMUU. That's so bad. What other options do I even have? I definitely don't want to open a big spot for him with something like Hum or him at this score and this point in the game. Maybe I do just play QI, as ugly as that looks. I just really don't see anything else. Do I have any like Q setups maybe? I also do need to watch my time. I'm getting a bit low. Like if I could put an I here or something, but I just don't see a good way to do that either. Or like here. If I could play something like Needy, but NIDI, but I can't, of course. That could be interesting. Yeah, I think I might just have to play QI, and then that way too, the nice thing about this is I can hopefully score here next turn as well, and keep compounding my lead. I just don't see anything else. So I'm going to play that. Wow. He is clearly struggling with his racks here. He plays now Nuff with 3 consonants for 18. And we do pick up an S, which is nice. Another I. So probably just something like HI or MI here, I would think. I'd love to use PIU as well, but unfortunately not going to be able to as far as I can tell. It's probably just between HI and MI. Both of them give back an A hook, which isn't great. I don't see a good reason to sacrifice to keep the H. The M actually probably works better with the U. So let's just do this, and then if he doesn't use that spot, I'll just lock it in with the S next turn and really shut off this corner of the board. I think that's sensible in this position. So let's. Okay, so he does get down Rosie 8. He was going to bingo anyway, though, and he was certainly due after all of that garbage he'd been drawing. But we're still very much in the driver's seat, so no reason to fret here. Probably just 2-2 to finally rid ourselves of these U's that we've been stuck with for quite some time. I don't love that this possibility for Jarl or things like that is still open, but I just don't have a way of dealing with it with this rack. And at least there's no X he can hurt me with after 2-2. I'm much more concerned about blocking this spot, since a big bingo is still the way for him to get back into this game. So yeah, probably just 2-2. I don't see a way for me to score much. I don't want to play mid keeping 2 U's, of course. So yeah, probably 2-2 is fine. Okay, so he bingos again with National. Things are heating up a little bit now. We have Martins, which will play here, and Tamarins will also play through this A. Both of them do have their drawbacks, unfortunately, since both do put a tile in the triple lane. But I've got a bingo. I'm not up nearly enough not to bingo. There's plenty of threats with the J, so I need to take the points. The question is, what's worse, putting the T here? I kind of think I'm going to go with Martins, because with the S in this spot, it's not that easy to triple with an S in this spot. I don't care if he plays to this S, then he's just sort of closing himself in. I feel like there's also no T's unseen. I feel like a T in the 4th spot is probably less likely, or more likely rather, to be tripled through than an S in the 6th. That's my instinct. And they score the same. And the triple is the main thing I'm worried about. So I'm going to just go with what I think is less likely to be tripled against. Okay, so he doesn't triple, but he does play Jumar for a heck of a lot of points. That's 69. So he's not going to go down easily this game. And I do have the blank, but a lot of direct to go with it. So the first thing that jumps out is Cozy for 30. Problem is, if he bingos next to it, I could be in trouble. So what I need to figure out is if I don't do that, because I really don't have any other good ways of dealing with this S. So I guess my other choices are either leave it open, which seems crazy, and I don't have a lot of good plays on this board. Or I could play something like Sick, or even Ionic, maybe? Yeah, the problem is, I'm worried if I don't score. If he has good scoring tiles, I'm not actually down that much. If he plays, like, Ward, and I draw too many vowels, even with the blank, I think I could lose in the endgame. He's not likely to bingo with that pull, unless he has, like, D-Wools or D-Leave. I've got to just take the risk that he bingos. I've got to play this. Yeah, see, because now I will be able to win. I'm quite confident in this endgame, but if I didn't take the points, it could have gotten very dicey. Because I don't think I'm bingoing, right? Because Violone doesn't fit. Yeah, Violone doesn't fit. Okay, so I won't be bingoing, but this should be a pretty easy out and two. He's threatening Goost and Thais. He's probably threatening... Oh, he's threatening Doges. Okay, this is actually... Hold on, this isn't that easy now, because that Doge is 6, 7, 9, 22, 30. Doge is like 41. Shoot, okay, hold on. Oh, boy. How do I deal with this? Yeah, and Goost is a lot less. Shoot. What if I just save Vi some more? Or just, how about just Vis? Yeah, Vis and Olio, this should be fine. Because, yeah, if he just plays Dove there. Yeah, okay, if he just plays Dove, I'll go out with Olio, and if he plays Goose, I can play 11 Wind. Okay, this is fine. Yep. Now, do I just play Olio or Love? I don't know. I just want to go out. I don't want to think. I don't... I probably just win by more after Love, but in case I was missing a big out, I just wanted to take the sure win. Okay, so, win for us, 449 to 437. Definitely a stressful endgame there. And that just goes to show you why I absolutely had to play Cozy, right? It's important not to get, so hung up on the possibility of him bingoing that you end up playing too paranoid and just losing in the endgame. That's definitely something that's happened to me many times, and it's a lesson I've learned over having made that mistake many, many times, and it's very frustrating when it happens. So, yeah, glad I was able to convert that. Probably not an optimal endgame, given I only had a minute left, but I knew I had to deal with doges, and I also knew that if somehow he blocked my out here, I could still play Love and almost certainly outrun. So, yeah, good game. Couple of weird decisions there, I think, when I had the Q in those U's. I'm curious if I may have missed something or mishandled that. So let's go ahead and take a look, and then we'll check out the ending too and see if maybe I had something better. So he exchanges here. That looks almost certainly best. U for 12, not worth it. AAOS is really clunky. So yeah, definitely agree with that. Lazed, yeah, I didn't love that. Palled is actually interesting. I didn't consider playing that here, but it's not bad. I mean, it keeps the Z. It's 10 less points, and it still gives back all the floaters. So I think, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of keeping the Z early on, since I tend to prefer trying to bingo. So I'm still good with Laced. I think that's perfectly fine. Dak looks pretty good. Oh wow, Allophone and Allophane are both good. Goodness gracious. I've seen Allophone before. Allophane? I'm sure I've seen it. I've studied most of the nines before, but it's been a while. Yeah, this does not ring much of a bell. Allophane and Allophone. Wow, that's crazy. I'm not actually sure. Are these plays better, though? That's the question. Like, they're 3 more, but they really do give back a lot more floaters to bingo through. On the other hand, Fennetal, of course, gives back the E hook and another S hook. So Fennetal definitely allows a lot more 7s to play, but Allophone or Allophane would be better because it duplicates the O floater instead of an A. Allophone gives back a lot more 8s. So, yeah, I don't know. Probably, I mean, if my long-term goal is to play defense, I'm probably better off playing Fennetal, because I think that'll, just with all those floaters, it's going to take a while for me to really close the board down. Because not only will there be the floaters in Allophone, there'll still be the floaters in Lays, there'll be the Oka Ska lane over here, and there'll be this lane next to the D, which is annoying to block. It's just going to be pretty much a forever open board if I play Allophone, whereas I think Fennetal, if I want to ultimately play defense, I have a shot. So I guess that's one advantage of Fennetal. And if I were playing a lower-rated opponent who I thought might not know the E-hook, that would be another advantage. Of course, that is totally moot against HastyBot, who has perfect word knowledge. But yeah, 3 more points. This is a tough call. I mean, I think either of them would be defensible. Of course, I wish I had seen one of these. I've definitely encountered both of these words before at some point, and I actually looked briefly through the AL and was like, I have a funny feeling there's something there, but I couldn't come up with it, and once I saw Fennetal, I was like, it's going to be just as good, basically, anyway. So, cool stuff. Yeah, maybe a mistake, maybe not, actually, but in any case, that's pretty cool, that both of those are available and good. Any case, so he's having some consonant trouble early on, as I surmised. Ged looks fine. I mean, INGRS, if he can pull a vowels, great leave, that's pretty likely to bingo. So yeah, Yenta, not at all surprised to see that come out on top of Equity, but if he had made the play other than Ged, I think I would have done it. I was just figuring, after Ged, that he was much more likely than average to have an S, right? Since he's basically fishing, he's playing off a couple tiles for a small score. 4 S's still unseen. I feel like he's pretty likely to have an S, and I really don't want to give him an easy 100-point bingo there hooking Yentas. So I think given his last play, not playing Yenta is correct. Ein, Tai, I guess it likes, not by much, I mean, it likes ETU about a point better than ENU on equity, but that's pretty close. And I do think, just again, given the 2 tiles he played, right, if he fished 2 vowels, I wouldn't really be concerned about floating this E, but given he fished 2 consonants, an E is like the ideal floater for him, and I'd rather not give that back if I can help it. So for the very minor sacrifice, if any, of keeping E and U instead of ETU, I'm, I think, much better off playing Tai. So I think, yeah, there's a bunch of mediocre options here. Given his play, I, again, do not like Yenta. I think Tai is fine. He is just unable to draw a vowel early on, and it's very frustrating. I've certainly been there many times myself, and yeah, it's sort of like, do you keep fishing with something like Pry, or at some point do you just give up and play Rigi? I mean, he's already in such a bad position. He's down 120, and Rigi, I mean, I don't know, Rigi's so bad for the board. It blocks this L's line, it blocks the line next to the D. It can't be hooked, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, Pry is not great for the board either. Neither is Gripey. Jirai, maybe? I don't know. I kind of would prefer Jirai here, given the score. You got to keep things open, and I think it's worth the 3-point sacrifice. Yeah, I just feel like Rigi is walling himself in too much at this score. I don't like that from a positional standpoint. I would have gone with Jirai if I were him. Ibex is quite clearly the best play here. Nixie is available, but 15 more points, of course, makes this worth it. Burps looks good. Yeah, he just really cannot draw vowels early in this game. Wow. Okay, so it doesn't look like I really missed much. I didn't actually see Kokwi, but yeah, definitely not doing that when I'm up over 100. Burps, I mean, may or may not have kept another S. I don't think there's a good spot to play Burp, and he could easily have kept a few consonants, which it turns out he did. So I can't necessarily infer he has another S, but he's certainly very possibly could, especially with 3 more unseen. So Koki, not a good play here. NUW is of course still a pretty terrible leave. Unsai, yeah, I don't know. I'd prefer actually QUU to QUW, I think, in this case. So yeah, Windsor's, I mean, not thrilled about opening these floaters, but I think it's just so much better for me from a rack standpoint and everything else that it's fine. Wow, he is drawing really badly here. I mean, this is just a gross play to have to make. You're still keeping 3 constants, you're only scoring 16, and you're closing this floater for yourself? Ugh, gosh, I mean, I get not wanting to exchange. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is just so grim either way. Yeah, I guess here, too, this was sort of a frustrating turn. I mean, I definitely did not want to play Hum and give back that S-hook again, as I've been discussing for a while. Same problem with him. I wasn't thrilled with QI, of course, given the leave, and it can give back easy comebacks, but at least I knew I did have an I, and I'd be able to hopefully score 30 or more again next turn. I guess Phi is an option, but the problem is I'm not going to really want to play QI here next turn anyway. Of course, the benefit of Phi is it does set up QI, but then if I play QI, I'm going to be having to deal with this S-hook for a while, and it's going to be actually pretty hard for me to block, so I'm not a fan of that idea. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just don't have a lot of options here, and QI is not an exciting play, but it's probably fine in this circumstance. And he's had like 1 vowel for, goodness, like 5 turns in a row. This is some brutal drawing by HastyBot here. I mean, yeah, what else are you gonna do? I mean, he's got to get rid of some of these constants. It's actually remarkable that he ended up making this a close game, just given how badly he was drawing earlier. Yeah, High, not a very inspiring play. You could actually make an argument for his here, now that I'm looking at it, because it just makes underlaps a little bit harder, because now he'd have to hook PIS with maybe Piso. If he, like, say, Roseate, what he ended up playing wouldn't fit now. So there is something to be said for playing the S just to make underlaps a little bit harder. But I don't know, the S really does improve that already vowel-heavy leave a lot, and just reduce the chances of a disaster draw like 000 or something like that. It's just still nice to have the flexibility of the S2 to respond to any sort of setups he might make. So it's worth looking at, but I'm good with just High here. He, of course, gets down Roseate, And now, of course, I'm having to sweat a little bit. Let's see. Smut is actually not terrible. It partially blocks this line, right? Because he now can't start a 7 from this 15G square unless he ends in an S. Problem is, there's still a pretty easy line to hit here under Roseate. So I'm still good with 2-2. It just keeps a much better leave, and I'm sacrificing points. Again, not worried about this spot because there's no XNC, and there's really... The worst thing that he can put there is an M, which will maybe score 40 worst case and give me a good line back. So, not too worried about that. Yeah, I think I would still do 2-2. That looks perfectly fine. He does get down National as well. Worth considering Elation just because he'll still be down a decent amount. But I think National... Yeah, there's still enough flexibility to work with on this board. And he's cutting it close enough. He'll only be down 15 in a turn. So... keeping things a little more cautious and taking the 4 extra points seems fine. If he were still going to be down like 60 after his bingo, then probably Elation. But yeah, I think at this score, National is all right. Yeah, here, again, between Martins and Tamarins, I saw both quickly. I feel like my instinct is that I chose right here. This T is pretty badly placed in the 4th spot. There's a lot of ways, like, restaged. I mean, to name one of very many he could have. It just works really well with this pool that has a R and an S and just no T in it. So that T is definitely a good tile for him to work with. This S, I just felt, of course, putting an S in the triple lane is generally not good because it gives him easy scores. But if he plays a 6 here for 40, I'm actually thrilled because I'll still be up 50, and now he's just closed the most dangerous line on the board, and I should pretty easily be able to keep it tight and coast to victory. It's not that... S in the 6th spot, I mean, he could maybe end in, like, ISED with Realize. There's words, but my instinct is telling me there's less than with a T in the 4th spot. So I think I probably chose right here. But he does get down Jumar for 69, so all of a sudden, HastyBot has gone from major consonant overload to scoring 90, then 70, then 70 again quickly, and all of a sudden I'm very much nervous here about my ability to hold on. And this was a key turn. I, of course, had reservations about Cozy because it gives back bingos like D-Wools and D-Leave at the minimum, possibly a few others I'm not seeing right off the top of my head. But they're pretty unlikely, and it's far more likely that I'm going to lose to a non-bingo if I do something like Bio over here, right? If he can play Weaves for 50, and then I'm going to be down 20, and if I draw 2 more vowels, which is quite plausible given the vowel-heavy pool, I could actually be in some serious trouble even with the blank going into the endgame there. So it's important, and this is a mistake I see a lot in players of, sort of lower expert range, like the 1800 range, is they'll look in the pool like, oh my gosh, I can't play this because my opponent could bingo back and win, so I have to play closed. And as I mentioned in the game, this is a lesson I've learned a lot. It took a while, but the key is you need to make sure that you're not going to lose more often by your opponent just simply outrunning you in the endgame after a bad draw than you are if you concede the rare bingo. And that's I can't emphasize that enough. And in this case, like I said, let's look at the pool again. I mean, D-Leave, D-Wools, that's, I think, pretty much it. There's maybe 1 or 2 more I'm not seeing immediately that play, because he has to start with a D, an A, an O, or a W, none of which are that easy for him to start with. And it's just, there's just not a lot that goes there. I guess he could maybe bingo with an S in the 4th spot as well, but I'm not even seeing anything off the top of my head. But in any case, the point is, it's highly unlikely he will bingo here. And if I play something like Bio again, so I'm going to be up 30. It's quite plausible I'm going to draw EO or something like that out of the pool. It's really not that unlikely at all. Certainly far more likely than him bingoing. And then if something like Ward, which I think is what happened in the game, occurs, or maybe Weaves for 51, then I'm going to be in far worse position than I would have been if I played Cozy. Of course, he could actually still even bingo with this N with something like Donegals here, and they may even be something through this S. So, but even ignoring those bingo possibilities, I am far more likely to lose to a non-bingo play after something like Bio or SIC, which I was looking at before. Far more likely that I am to lose after a freak bingo here after Cozy. and as we saw in the game, so he played where, not word. But here, right? I guess probably probably just Vose is perfectly fine. This is not a hard endgame to win. It was a little bit stressful under time pressure once I saw he was threatening Doges up here, and I don't have a great way of. Oh, I missed Logoi. I didn't see Logoi. Okay, I was looking at this spot trying to find a play there. I saw like LO. I couldn't come up with Logoi, unfortunately. But yeah, this is probably the best win, right? Because EV, EV have Rev, Vo. Yeah, I have a million places to go out with EV. I'm not getting stuck. And his best play is again going to probably just be Goose, and then I can even go out with Dev. So yeah, this would have been better. I just had to make sure. I probably can just outrun Doges anyway, right? If I play Vose, that's 28. Doges I think is like 40. So yeah, I'll only be down like 6. So as long as I can go out with Oil, which I can over here. Yeah, I think this doesn't win by much. Probably Vise is a little bit better. Maybe not, though. Actually, yeah, because then I can go out with Lobo. So, yeah, I think Vise, 28. I'm up 34. 22, 30, 34. Yeah, Doges is 41. So, I'll only be down 7, so I'd need 3 to tie. Lobo is 13. Yeah, so this, I think, wins by 10. If I'm doing the math right after Doges. So, this would have been fine, too. There's many ways for me to win. It's not a hard end game to win. It's just a stressful one under time pressure when you see that he's threatening a big play. So I'm glad I was able to convert this. This not optimal, but again, the idea I saw here was like if he's going to use this V and play something like Dove, and then it'll be a tie game, and I'm just going to go out with Olio over here, which I ended up doing in the game next to the E and Cozy. And I know also if he somehow blocks this, he's not going to score much, right? Like if he plays Goose over here, then I'll just play Love, and I should hold on. Actually, it could be kind of close. I don't think I really looked at Goose during the game. That's a good amount of points. Yeah, can he get this close? Because DEE. This might be worth looking at in Quackle, just to make sure that I didn't miss a way for him to win. Because yeah, as we saw, Goose loses to Olio, or I think Love would win pretty easily as well. Yeah, what if he does like goes or goes or does or anything like that? Does he need to score? So let's see. Any of those plays, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 18, 19, 20, 28. Yeah, so he's only down 2. Love or Levo would be 24. 26. Yeah, he'd need 24 to play out with like DOE, GOE, something like that. Probably not going to happen. Zed, unfortunately, doesn't work because he'd still have another tile. And I'll be able to play out many spots with my O. So I don't think HastyBot could have won here. But I probably put myself into more of a dicey situation than I needed to with this. I'll just quickly put this in Quackle to check. Okay, so we wanted to look, and I guess I'm curious to see with this, what is my best actual endgame play? It probably is Logoi. But there may be some sort of cool setup I missed as well. Or maybe just you let him have Doges and get a good out in 2. Let's see what Champ says. It's not the most simple of endgames. It shouldn't be that hard to win, but it's... Oh wait, this loses? This loses? Oh, wow. So Loco or Lobo would have been best. Wait, how does this lose? We're going to find out in a moment. So yeah, apparently one of these plays, because I have... But where am I going out? Oh, I have Vibe. Okay, because I think I saw Lobo, or I think I saw Loco while I was looking at it. I didn't see Vibe, though. But do I have a second out if he blocks Vibe? Yeah, I have Rive. Okay, very good. Yep, so if he blocks Vibe, I can go out with Rive and win. Goose isn't nearly enough, and I block Doju. So that wins easily. Same idea with Logoi. OES. Oh my goodness. Wow. Because I have Ovoli to go out through this O, but what if he blocks that? Then do I have anything? Oh, I guess Vial is just enough then. Is that the idea? Then Vial is just enough? Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, Vial will just be enough after that. Does that outrun Zed, though? I guess it... Yeah, I guess it will. Okay, yeah, that'll win by like 5. Yeah, win by 6. Okay. So that's why OE's. And then, so what is wrong with this, though? Why does this lose? Because now... Used... goes, but then where's he going out with ODE for enough points? Oh! Oh. Wow, I see what's going to happen here. After Love, or Levo, he's going to be able to play Do over here, making Lille with the L I put there. Wow. Wow, and I have to go here because he's threatening to play Dove. I absolutely have to go there, and then he's going to go out and win by 1. Holy cow. Yeah, there's nothing else I can do. I mean, if I do this, then he just plays Dobe or something else or Door and just wins. Wow. That's insane. That is crazy, crazy stuff. Wow. Yeah, I looked at goes here. I didn't realize after Love, he's forcing me to set himself up for Lille. Wow. So I messed up that endgame, but HastyBot, luckily for me, did not capitalize. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so I just did... I had the right idea. I knew I had to deal with Doges. There was no way for me to win without dealing with Doges in this position when I played Vis. I didn't see Logoi quite on time. And I think I saw Loco, but I saw that I had Rive. I was like, I didn't see Vibe, unfortunately. And I thought he could win by blocking here. So yeah, had to play OES instead to set up Vial. And then I'm threatening Ovoli. So that same idea, right? Because he could go with goes again, because at Vial would still set up Veal. But then I just go out with Ovoli. Wow. Crazy. Yeah, that's this is actually not by any means a routine win for me in this position, like I figured it would be. It's a win I definitely would have found if I had another 2 minutes on my clock. I have no doubt about that. But wow, crazy stuff. This actually turned into a really cool end game, just a really cool game in general. So fortunate to escape with that one. I blew the end game, and then HastyBot blew it right back to me. I ended up winning by 12. I probably should just go out with Love here once again, but at that point I was like, okay, I have the win. I just want to take it and go home. Wow. Okay, so a fortunate win there, but we will take it. I mean, I feel like I played pretty well until that end game, I guess. I don't really think I made any mistakes. There were a few questionable decisions, but yeah, what a game. Hope you guys enjoyed that and the end game analysis. Maybe I'll make a separate shorter video on that separately just to recap that, because there was a lot to unpack. But yeah, that's it for this video. It's already a pretty long one, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, guys, as always, and I will see you soon for Game 32. Have a good one.